Hey friends, welcome to our weekly live. I know that you can't see my face today, but I'm sharing one of my tabs with you so that you can walk through a live critique with me. Our Facebook group members volunteered to have done so that we can help optimize their Instagram bios so they can get more followers and more bookings. I'm going to wait just a moment so I can make sure that everyone can join us live. I do ask for your patience today because this is a little different, obviously, than what I usually do. I've got to go back and forth between the page where I can see your comments, but also Instagram itself. So there seems to always, yep, it looks like there is a delay. Okay, so it might have not gone live when I thought it did. So sorry, guys. I think I've been talking where it was showing it was live and it wasn't. So let me just start over. Welcome to our weekly live, guys. You can't see my face today. I'm showing you sharing with you one of my tabs for Instagram so that you can join me with a live critique this week. We've got 5 of our members who have volunteered to have their Instagram bios critiqued live by me. And what we're going to do is we're going to optimize their biographies so that they can ensure more people are getting eyes on their page. They're increasing their bookings. So last week we talked about a number of ways that you can increase your followings and bookings that have absolutely nothing to do with you. And optimizing your bio was one of the things that we talked about. And so this is an extension of that video where we're going to actually dive into those elements we talked about to make it easy for all of you to set up your bio in a way that's going to get you more traction on. I know that it's really easy to get frustrated and blame the algorithm. And I'm here to tell you it's not about the algorithm. Yes, algorithms change all the time. They change on Facebook, they change on Instagram, they change on TikTok, they change on YouTube. That is something that we are always going to have to deal with. We are always going to have to learn about and be ready to pivot. However, there are a lot of tactics and strategies that we don't stop and think about that can be more impactful to our issues with success on social media than the algorithm. So I encourage you to be mindful of that. I encourage you to always be open to learning and to trying new strategies and seeing what works best for you, your business, and your brand. So today, we've got our 5 members that we're going to be critiquing. We've got Daniela, Christine, Jen, Yeasley, and Nicole. All right. Hi, Daniela. I see that you're here. Hi, Christine. Hey, April. Okay, yeah, come back to the replay. That's awesome. This will be up, guys, for the replay, so that way you can see what we're doing if you need to go over it again. Okay, so when it comes to your Instagram bio, there are 6 elements that have to do with optimizing it for more followers and more bookings. We talked about this last week, but I'm going to review that with you, and then we're going to dive into Daniela's. What I want to make sure, guys, is if you can just comment, if you can see Daniela's page right here. Can you see my cursor? It should say Kuntz Photography. So if you can just put a yes in the, make sure that you're seeing my shared screen, then I know that we are good to go, okay? So let me hear some comments from you guys so I know that you're perfect. Yes. Okay. So let's review the 6 elements to an optimized Instagram. Dive into Daniela's first. All right. Okay, great. Everybody can see Daniela's page. Perfect. All right. So the 6 elements to an optimized are: 1, a profile picture of your face. Number 2, a memorable username. 3, a name field that contains keywords. 4, your niche or promise statement. 5, a call to action. And 6, a link, a clickable link that people can click on to follow through. All right. So let's dive into Daniela's, okay? Daniela, I know you have been working on your niche statement. You've been working on this bio, and I'm so excited because I think that you have just recently really discovered what your niche truly is. and you're diving into that. So congratulations, because I know it takes some time to really truly understand who it is you want to serve. And when we first start out, even if it's not when you're first starting out, it takes time. Sometimes you find yourself just trying to shoot all different kinds of things to find out where your passion truly lies, and that can take some time. But I'm telling you, when you figure out your niche, you figure out what you're passionate about, all your marketing efforts, all the efforts that you put into your business, they just start coming right back to you. It's fantastic. So we're going to break down what Daniela has here, and we're going to make some suggestions that can make it even better. And again, guys, if you can just have a little patience with me today, because I've got to come back to the Facebook page to be able to see your comments. So I'm not going to be able to see them for just a moment, but for making a comment, I will definitely address it in just a little bit, okay? So first things first, Daniela has her username as her handle is Kuntz Photography. Now, Kuntz is her last name, so she's using her name. I always recommend using your name if you can, but it might be a little bit difficult for people to remember. Daniela, I know people also struggle probably with spelling your name and getting it right, but it's something to think about. If you are able to put Daniela_Kuntz Photography, but I know that starts getting a little bit long. But again, your last name is Kuntz, so you're using that. If it's memorable to your audience, then that will work. But I do question how memorable that is. Okay, so something to think about. The second thing that I notice is we've got what looks like a logo here. I always recommend using a picture of in your face, looking at the camera and smiling, depending on your brand. My brand's a little bit different, where everyone likes those kind of editorial looking off to the side photos, but you need to make sure that you're not only presenting yourself as someone who's approachable, but you need to make sure that you're showing the face of the brand, because we all complain that photography is a saturated market, right? Guys, it is not at all about the it is the marketing, okay? So if you want to stand out, I highly recommend a personal brand, being the face of your business, letting your personality shine so people are wanting to connect with you, so they can see there's a person behind the business. This is one element that will help you stand out in your market, is to have a photo of you as your profile pic. And now, Daniela, if you're particularly attached to this logo, I put it down in your highlights. I put it down in one of your highlight covers. That would work. That would, but definitely would recommend a photo of your face. Now, next, what I'm noticing is this name field right here where we've got Daniela Photographer. I love that your first name is there, Daniela. That helps personalize things a good bit. However, what I'm noticing is we're not taking advantage of the little bit of SEO, the search engine optimization, that Instagram allows us right here in the name field. This section's called name field, okay? So you can actually put keywords here that are searchable on Instagram. So in Daniela's case, she could put Daniela-Orlando photographer, Orlando wedding photographer, or Danielle, just because of the angle that you're going at when I'm looking at your niche statement here, you could even put Orlando off. If I was of that audience and I saw Daniela, Orlando offbeat photographer, I would know in a heartbeat are for me. The words Orlando, offbeat, those are going to be searchable and you're going to be more easily found, okay? So when I say that, I'm talking about keywords that not only describe who you're for, if possible, but location specific. All right. Now, I know, Daniela, you are in the Orlando area. Orlando is big, guys. If you're not from here, when people say Orlando, they're also kind of encompassing the surrounding areas. Winter Springs, Kissimmee, Oviedo, Deltona, all these little suburbs that wrap around it. And so a lot of times you'll see many photographers, when they know about using keywords, they will use the largest city that's close to them, which is Orlando. If you look and try to search for like Oviedo photographer, there's nothing. I actually looked yesterday, there's absolutely nothing in that search. So you can always put the major city you're near, and then down here, somewhere in your biography, you can put what specific cities that you might be serving. You can put Orlando and surrounding areas, things like this. But the point is, we really want to take advantage of the keyword opportunities that we are allowed to use now in our name. The other thing too is they have recently extended how many characters you can use there. It used to be only 30 and it was really tough. They have now expanded it so you can put a lot more descriptive keywords there, and that is definitely to our advantage. That is one way that their little SEO and the algorithm is now working in our favor. Okay, let me just take a look here too. Before we dive into the niche statement, are there any questions? Back to check for comments. Daniela says, because I love everyone. That's awesome. Okay, so Daniela, let's dive into your niche statement. Everybody, you can follow along and let's see what we can do to make it amazing. So Daniela's niche statement is inclusive, unbiased, body positive. Excuse me, let me highlight this again. Boom, inclusive, unbiased, body positive wedding and portrait photographer, helping offbeat, fandom following, fun-loving families capture their authentic self. Whew, that was a mouthful, but good job on being about who you are serving. The thing about this is that I think there are a couple words here that actually include other words, meaning they encompass more of what you're saying. I think we can narrow this down to get it more succinct. This is very specific, which is great, but it's super long. Bios are tough and we want to communicate who we serve specifically, but we need to try to do it in as few words as possible. People's attention is short, and your niche statement needs to quickly roll off the tongue. Also, some points of a bio like Daniela's can actually be broken words below the statement that allows kind of like a page break for the eye to rest. Okay, people will be much more likely to read all the info if it's in shorter sections. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's break this down to something that packs a punch but is succinct. Okay? The first thing that pops out to me are the words capture and authentic. They are probably the two most common words used by photographers when marketing themselves. And authentic has also been overused by the general public to the point where it often invokes an eye roll. So personally, I would toss those. I've been guilty of that too. So we're not coming down on you, Daniela. It's just something that's being commonly used to the point where it no longer stands out, if that makes sense, okay? We want you to stand out in the industry and not blend in. I think if we can also get rid of the words, maybe wedding and portrait, okay? Because that will be stated in your name field. If you adjust your name field here to, Daniela, Orlando wedding photographer, Orlando, offbeat photographer, what have you, then we can, afford to let go of some of these down here because it's redundant, okay? And guys, remember, in your bios, you only have 130 characters that you can, that's it, 130 characters that you can use, and it is used up quickly. So that's something I'm keeping in mind too as we're discussing Daniela's here, okay? I also feel that the word inclusive encompasses things such as being unbiased and body positive. So I think that I would also nix those and just be sure that what you feel this word means is expressed throughout the content in your feed. If you want to keep those terms in your bio, I'd put the statement separately to give the eye a place to rest. This will make it more likely that a viewer would read through to the end in one long sentence. So Daniela, for yours, this is what I would consider. For your name field, this part right here, I personally would do Orlando offbeat photographer. People in a heartbeat would know that you were for them. Those people would know, okay? And then what I would do below that is I would in your actual bio, I'd put weddings / creative portraits. Okay. Now I know that you focus on couples and you follow them throughout their journey into familyhood. So I think that putting creative portraits will cover. Also, I use the word creative just because of what I've seen in your feed down here. Also, just the people that you serve, they love creativity. Also, I see weddings, I see couples, all kinds of great stuff down here. Okay, so that's just something to consider. So again, I put down here weddings / creative portraits. Next line, inclusive photographer serving offbeat, fun-loving people. When you use the word people, you don't have to worry about couples, maternity, families, whatever it might be that your brand is encompassing, okay? Be my niche statement. Inclusive photographer serving offbeat, fun. Now, underneath that, I would put dash body positive. Next line, dash Disney lover, because Daniela, if I remember correctly, I think you're a Disney lover, and these offbeat fandom kind of people are going to love that. You guys know that I use the fact that I love grilled cheese as one of my connection points, right? The reason why I use that is that even if you don't like a grilled cheese, you can relate to the fact of the love of food, right? So Daniela, in your case, this fandom following crowd, even if they are not into Disney, maybe they're more of a Universal fan, maybe they're more of a comic fan, what have you, it doesn't matter. The fact that you are someone who loves Disney, they can relate to that passion, even if it's not the exact same passion. Does that make sense? So it's a little fun fact that they will relate to. In the next line, I would put dash nerdy, because this group of people, the offbeat community, that's what they love. They love to get all nerdy about fandom things and you know, TV series, movies, and comics, and things like Disney and Universal, Harry Potter, what have you. Okay, so having these little fun facts about you below your niche statement will help connect you to your audience, but also relate to them. So again, let me read this back to you again. So under the name field, I would put Daniela, Orlando Offbeat Photographer. In the body, in your actual bio portion where you can fill it out, the 130 character slot, I would put weddings / creative portraits. Next line, inclusive photographer serving offbeat, fun loving people. Underneath that, body positive. Next, Disney lover. Next, nerdy. All right. What do you think of that so far, guys? Daniela says, makes sense, got it, loving it. Awesome. This gets it much more succinct, gets it to a point where you're connecting much more readily with your audience, and they will read to the bottom. Okay. And Daniela, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm actually going to post these finalized critiques in the comments. That way you guys can see it. And actually, I'm going to put Daniela's right now. But we're not done with Daniela's. I'm going to post it, but we're not done. Okay, you guys should see that now. Okay, so let's go back to this. Oop, shoot, hold on, guys. I accidentally hit her link. Okay, you guys are still seeing the same page, but it took me elsewhere. So I did it again. So down here, we can see that Daniela has, let me highlight that alone, but we can see that she has a link here, and that will take you to her links to book with her, etc. Right? And that is something that you definitely want to have. You want to have a link so that people can follow through. However, you need a call to action to tell them to do that. You've invited people on your journey. Now you need to let them know what to take the next step. So I highly recommend underneath this niche statement within your bio that you put a call to action. Simply be, you know, an emoji with a finger pointing down saying book or inquire here. Tell them what to do next, and then give them the link at the bottom here so that they can follow through. All right. All right. So that should really make a huge difference for you guys that are following along. Just keep all these things I'm talking about in mind because they make such a huge difference. But I think that the changes that we've suggested for Daniela's are just going to help make her even more attractive to potential followers, to not only follow her page or just to find her on Instagram, but to actually follow and read her call to actions. All right. Any comments before I move on? We're going to do Christine next. You're welcome, Daniela. I think that's going to make a huge, huge difference for you. All right. Let's go to Christine. Christine, I'm so proud of you. You have done such a really good job on this. Look at this profile picture. It's a beautiful, I'm going to zoom in on that beautiful face. Look at Christine. This is gorgeous. Lovely photo of her smiling, looking at the camera, even holding her camera, which is awesome. It's very approachable, very friendly. I love it. Christine's actual last name is Barefoot. People are not going to forget that. So even though like I would probably say, you know, the royalty part might throw people off, when you actually type in Barefoot, Christine is at the top, guys. She comes right up. So it works. It works. And she's got her first name here, which shows, you know, the person behind the brand and the business. It makes it personal. It gives, you know, this along with her photo creates an immediate connection. All right. And then she's got, what I love about this is she's got her link already set up, serving Georgia and beyond. That is awesome because it shows that she's willing to travel. She doesn't just serve the Georgia area, but she's willing to serve beyond that locale. Her name field, she's got such a good job here. She's got her name, and then she's got Savannah, Georgia wedding and elopement photographer. Okay. Here's something to consider, guys, when you're using your name field. Again, there's a limitation with how many characters you can use. If you live in a city like I do or Christine does, which is Savannah, names that you don't even have to use the state afterwards, you know, you don't have to say the state for people to know what you're talking about. You can nick out a couple characters. Like if she got rid of Georgia, it would still work because everybody knows where Savannah is, right? Also, she puts wedding and elopement photographer. If someone types in Savannah wedding photographer, she will pop up. If they type in Savannah elopement photographer, she will pop up. So fantastic job on that, Christine. That is fantastic. So let's look at her niche statement. Romantic portraits, intimate weddings, and elopements for the adventurous, whimsical, and madly in love. All right, I took some notes on this. Hold on just 1 second. What I would probably do, and I see what you did here, Christine. You've already got it stated here that you do weddings and elopements. So putting it here is a little redundant. However, you, like myself, focus on intimate weddings and elopements, okay? That's different, very different from traditional full-blown weddings. There's all different kinds of ways people, you know, when you use the word intimate or micro weddings, things like that, people have a lot of different definitions. But when you say intimate, that immediately tells your audience what type of weddings and elopements you do. And because of that, I think that word in your niche statement is important. However, we're getting a little repetitive when we do this whole shebang here. You know what I mean? We can include the word intimate, get this a little more succinct, and make it work even better. Okay. So what is under your name field? Gosh, my brain went blank for a second. Underneath your name field, when you start off here with your niche statement, I would put for the adventurous, whimsical, and madly in love. Underneath that, I would put romantic portraits. Underneath that, I would put intimate weddings because I think the term intimate weddings is going to encompass. Also, we're trying to save some character space here because we're really hitting that 130 mark. And then underneath that, I would put serving Georgia and beyond. I think it would make it a little more succinct, but also a little bit more likely that people will read it. Because believe it or not, people's attention spans are so short, and even for a 2-liner, a lot of times people won't read it. So if you just get it down to your niche statement being for the adventurous, whimsical, and madly in love, because you don't need to go into saying photographer for this and that, because you've got it up here. Christine, Savannah, Georgia, wedding and a little bit photographer. So down here, it would just continue the sentence. For the adventurous, whimsical, and madly in love, right? Again, underneath that, romantic portraits. Underneath that, new line, intimate weddings. New line, serving Georgia and beyond. The only thing that I'm seeing that we're missing here is a call to action. So we'd want to have, you know, as the last line before the link here, book now, inquire below, whatever it is that you want to do. But again, be careful of that 130 character count. And Christine, I believe with the way that I laid out your niche statement and sized it down just a little bit, that should allow you to be able to put that call to action in there. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste this one too in the comments. Give me 1 second here. And the other thing too, if there's room, Christine, a little fun fact about you would be awesome. It may be a little tough. I know sometimes there's just not enough room. I struggle with that because I have 2 audiences. I have my clients for portraits and weddings, and I have photographers. And so 130 characters is really, really tight. Okay, so let me copy and paste this into the comments. Christine says, love it. I'm hoping the storm doesn't kick me off. Oh, me too. If it does, we're going to have the replay for you, okay? Okay, there we go. Guys, there's also a character count website. Let's see, hold on 1 second. If you just Google character counter, there's one called wordcounter.net, but just Google character counter. It will pop up. You can type out your bio and pop it in there and see how many characters you have. I will give a word of caution that whenever you are doing emojis like these guys right here, sometimes because of their size, it may count as more than 1 character, so you have to play with it a little bit. Okay, so just that little tip there. But overall, great job, Christine. You and Daniela both are just doing so good. John says, I'm about to hit the road, already mulling over improvements. Awesome. Thanks for joining, John. Yeah, come back to the replay for sure. Okay, so next we're going to go to Jen's page. 1 second here. There's Jen. Okay. Now, Jen is kind of starting bare bones here. So I'm going to talk about some tweaks we can do to Jen's bio to help her get her on her way and help her start figuring out what her niche statement's going to be. So just a quick look. When you check out her page, we see couples, we see creative portraits, we see weddings, lots of bright, beautiful colors, all kinds of things, okay? And it looks like there's a senior down here too. So we want to make sure that we have determined who it is that we want to serve and make sure that we are getting that message across, all right? So let's start with first things first. This picture, though beautiful, is not of Jen, but it's beautiful. But Jen, definitely get your gorgeous face on there. People need to see you, get to know the person behind the brand so they can immediately connect. Otherwise, what we're doing is we are creating distance between ourselves and potential new followers and our current followers and potential clients, okay? Little things like this, guys, make a huge difference. So that's the first thing that I would consider. Secondly, Jen, I feel that your username is a little bit hard for people to remember. First of all, you've got Jen spelled with 2 N's, and you've got Lynn with 1 N, and that can be so confusing. I have a middle name of Lynn with 2 N's. I know Jen's that spelled with 1 N or 2 N's, and having the number 21 at the end, this is just a difficult to remember username, okay? So that might and work on. I do love that you have your name here That's got your full name so people can see who you are. You don't have to put your full name, guys, but get your first name in there somewhere, preferably in your user handle if you can, but just somewhere so they can connect the person. But it'd be even better to see this name with a beautiful picture of Jen right there, okay? The only thing about this name field is we are not taking advantage of the little SEO, as I mentioned before, that Instagram is giving us to use keywords in our name field. So Jen, I know you're in the Orlando area, so you can put Orlando wedding photographer, Orlando photographer, Orlando creative photographer. Guys, just because you choose a name field doesn't mean also that you have to be stuck with it forever, okay? I changed mine up a little bit. I just know that Orlando photographer needs to be in there for me. Or maybe for you it's Austin photographer, or maybe for you it's Seattle photographer. The other words are to help narrow down the search for people. But definitely if you are someone who, is looking to serve a particular locale, you need to have that in there. You could even put Austin and Seattle photographer if you want to market to two areas, and you will come up in the search. So that's the next thing that I would do, Jen, is take advantage of putting some keywords in here so you can be found more readily for sure. Okay. And let me put my notes up here because I know I took some notes about some suggestions. Okay. So when I look through your have to sit down and figure this out, who your audience is, but just based on looking at what I'm seeing, you could put something like serving the creative and carefree, because there's a lot of creativity in here that I think people would love. I mean, there's lots of personality behind your photos, creativity. So maybe you could just put, Orlando photographer in the name field, and underneath that, serving the creative and carefree. Then underneath that, the next line would be creative portraits / weddings. Maybe include a fun fact, and then put a call to action, and you'll have that call to action that will point them to this link. You guys got to remember, tell them to take the next step. Book here, inquire here. All right. If you do not have a website yet, that is okay. Your call to action may be DM to book, message to inquire. You've got to have a way that makes it easy for people to book with you. Don't give them hurdles. So I'm going to take this one, copy and paste for Jen. 1 second. And then we're going to go on to Yeasley. But Jen, as you kind of figure out your niche, your specific niche and who you want to target, if you have issues and come back to this and you have a question, just let me know, okay? Let's see. There we go. Okay, so let me come back to these comments. Ooh, there's a lot. Okay, Courtney says, what is another way we can display our links? I don't love Linktree. I will absolutely love to talk about that. Courtney, can you please remind me at the end? Because if you click on mine, you're going to find out it's a landing page. It's not Linktree. I got rid of Linktree, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Great question. Please ask me that at the end. Remind me. I need your help. Tara says, hi, so sorry I'm late. No problem, girl. You're fine. You're fine. Daniela says, Canva has templates, and somehow you can use that to add them to the page. That's something on my to-do list. Daniela, I'm assuming that you are meaning instead of Linktree. And yes, that is an option. There's so many things that you can do. Tara says, I'm guilty of not showing myself in my Instagram. That is going to change. Absolutely. And guys, I'm going to tell you, I'm guilty of that too. I used to be good at it, but I'm actually, I got to update some brand shots for sure. But my face is absolutely a pick, and I highly recommend if you can get yourself every 3 to 6 squares. If it's not a photo view, then it's in a reel. And that is something that I do. It's definitely, but for cover photos, I've got to get my face back out there too. And I recommend that you do the same. It definitely makes a difference. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Courtney says, oh, I'm going to have to add this to mine too. Yeah, so much good info. So much good info. Hold on, I'm trying to keep up with these. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways you can do it. Canva, you can use that as a link. Tara says, my IG thumbnail is of me and one anonymous photo, but nowhere else. Okay. Location, yep, that's important. Yes, don't give hurdles. And yeah, this is why we're doing this, guys. Don't worry if your Instagram bio needs a lot of work. This is not that big of a deal. These are small little steps of strategy that you can do to just kill it on Instagram. Absolutely. Okay, so Yeastly is actually under Blush and Bloom. This is why I was having you guys link for me the other day, because I'll be honest with you, I can't remember your cute business names. I remember your face and your name, not your business name. And I know I have a business name too that is not my real name. And I think Yeastly has a similar problem. So we're going to talk about that. Okay. First of all, look at this. I gotta blow this up. Look how cute she is. She's got a fantastic photo of her showing her face, smiling, looking at the camera. Immediate connection. Here's her full name. All right. She goes as Blush and Bloom Photography. This, usually, like I tell you guys, you need to use your name if at all possible. If at all possible. But like, for example, my last name is Boschich. It's spelled like the no one pronounces it correctly, and they assume that it's a tongue-in-cheek kind of joke, and I don't want anyone thinking that about that when it comes to, or relating to that when it comes to my business. So as you guys know, my business is Rock Your Rebellion, and my handle is Becca_Rock Your Rebellion, to make sure that it's easy for them to remember, easy for them to find me, and it connects them to a personal brand. For Yeastly, she's got a difficult name. Okay, people are gonna butcher the first and last name with spelling, so I totally get it. What I do like about her choice with Blush and Bloom is it rolls off the tongue. And if people struggle remembering her first name, they'll probably be more likely to remember this. So this is an unusual case where I say this is more likely to work. One thing that you can do, Yeastly, as well, is in parentheses, like put a phonetic pronunciation of your first name. You don't even have to use your last name if you don't want to. But if you could put like a phonetic pronunciation of your name, that would help. I do that on my personal Facebook page to help people, but I just don't even use my last name in my business, so I don't have to worry about that. But that is an option. But beautiful job on choosing a really lovely photo of you that's smiling and looking at the camera, okay? Also, you were telling me that you love to work with seniors and children, and they all have like these beautiful, gorgeous dresses, and yes, they do. I saw some quinceañeras, all kinds of interesting, gorgeous work. I also saw there's a couple of adults here too. I don't know if you also serve families, but let's talk about a niche statement, because we are basically starting from scratch here. So again, think about who it is that you serve, who you are, what you offer, who it is that you serve, okay? So for Yeastly, what I would do, Yeastly, because I noticed you've got Orlando and Oviedo photographer. For those that don't know, Oviedo is a suburb of Orlando. Oviedo and Winter Springs are cities right next to each other in a county called Seminole County. It is a hot spot for families. That is where everyone goes to move to if they have children, because they have a fantastic school system there. However, when I look up on Instagram, Oviedo photographer or Winter Springs photographer, there's nothing there. It is not coming up. So Yeastly, in your name field, I would definitely take advantage of some keywords like Yeastly, dash Orlando photographer or Orlando child photographer. And then what I would do in the body of your bio is then maybe put Orlando/Oviedo Winter Springs, so that when people find you, especially in those areas, they can say, oh, she's an Orlando photographer, but she, also serves Winter Springs and Oviedo, where we live, and we've got tons of friends who are looking for someone like her too. So that's how you can kind of get around it when you maybe live in a suburb or a suburb that you really want to serve, but there's not a lot going on SEO wise for searches, okay? Because yes, she could put Yeastly Oviedo photographer, and if someone who's literally using that hashtag, she's going to pop right up for them. But how many people are actually using that hashtag? If the majority of the audience is using the largest city that's nearest to you, then you need to maybe consider using that. And in the body of the bio down here, start getting specific with the additional areas that you serve. That's how you work around that, guys. I really encourage you to get up in this search bar, start searching hashtags, start searching other photographers, see how people are finding new followers, how are they marketing themselves? What are the most popular hashtags that people are looking up? When someone books with you, ask them how they found you. If they found you on Instagram, get specific. What hashtags did they use? And it doesn't have to be weird or creepy. Like the last time I had that situation, I was talking to a couple, we were finishing up. So how did you guys find me? And they're like, yeah, we did a search on Instagram. I'm like, that's awesome. Would you mind telling me what hashtags you use? I'm always curious about how people like you can find photographers like me. And if there's a certain hashtag that you're using, I want to make sure I'm using that too to help you find me more easily. And the strange thing that I've found by asking this over and over, especially with my wedding clients, is that it wasn't Orlando wedding photographer. It wasn't Orlando, portrait photographer or alternative photographer, which I am. It's just Orlando photographer. So I have kept that in mind when it comes to my bio. I have kept that in mind when it comes to hashtag use. Those are things that you want to kind of whittle down, and those little tiny tweaks are going to make a huge difference. Okay. So again, Yeasley, because you're serving children, seniors, maybe even families, I would put your name field as Yeasley Orlando Child and Senior Photographer, or you could put Senior and Family Photographer. And for your niche statement, you could consider celebrating the milestones of fun-loving families. As simple as that. Milestones are things like first birthday, turning 5, quinceañeras, turning sweet 16, turning 18, senior high school graduation, college graduation. That word milestone covers the gamut for you. Okay, so that's an option that you can consider. And again, underneath that, I would put Orlando / Oviedo / Winter Springs, because where you are residing, because I know of your area, Yeasley, that is a hot spot for families. I think you are in to serve families and serve them well, especially if you're doing milestones. So again, celebrating the milestones of fun-loving families. Or you can, if you don't want to serve families, celebrating the milestone of fun-loving children, work with it. These are just some suggestions. But again, it could be for your name field, Orlando Child and Senior Photographer or Orlando Family Photographer. But for your bio, if this fits what you're going for, celebrating the milestones, I think would work beautifully. And then under that, put, again, Orlando, Oviedo, Winter Springs. I would include a fun fact about yourself if you could. And then you need to definitely have a call to action, and you need a link. If you don't have a website yet, Yeasley, I suspect you may not, then your call to action needs to be message to inquire, whatever one you want to use, okay? You need to tell them what step to take next to book you. So it's okay if you guys don't have a website yet. Get a website eventually. You need one. You definitely need one, okay? But if you don't have one right now, that is okay. Just make sure you make a point to tell them to message you with an Instagram so you are not missing out on opportunity, okay? Does that make sense, everyone? Yeasley, I'm going to copy this and put it in the comments for you. You're welcome, Yeasley. I'm happy to help. Just work with it. These are not set in stone, guys. Sometimes things can shift in your brand. Sometimes, you may want to try a new tactic in your name field to see if it's going to attract more people that way. Work with it, all right? Nothing's set in stone. Tara says, makes sense. Thank goodness. Good. I'm glad. I want to make sure it makes sense to you guys. All right. Tara says, I struggle with mine because people always misspell my last name. Yeah, I hear you on that. I hear that. Even my name, no one calls me this except my husband, Rebecca. People just mutilate the spelling all the time. So people even struggle with that. But if you can, it's best to use your name. But if you're in a situation where it's tough, I think Tara would work. I would agree that maybe not using your last name may be a possibility. It just depends. It depends. But yeah, I can see how Richie would be hard, Tara. So we are going to the last one, which is Nicole Otero. Now, Nicole, guys, Nicole is closing on her house. She just moved from Florida to Colorado, and so I told her that was fine, and because she's literally closing as we are on here live. So it's okay. She'll watch the replay, but let's go ahead and talk about hers, okay? And let me pull up my notes for hers. Okay. I love Nicole's profile pic. Even though she's not looking directly at the camera, I think this works. You know why? She looks like she's having such a friggin' good time. The biggest smile on her face. Like every bit of her personality is expressed in this photo. It makes it so approachable. I love this. This works. This is a case where you may not be looking directly at the camera and smiling, but it works. This is awesome. Okay. Now, Nicole, what I do love is that you've got your full first name here. Hey, hi, I'm Nicole Otero. The username might be a little bit tough because we've got not only just an initial for your first name, but a period after it, and your last name might be a little bit difficult too. So you might want to consider just spelling out Nicole if you can. I know that makes it kind of long, but when people are looking for you, if they're following you already and they type in Nicole, you're going to right away versus Nicole period Otero. Do you know what I mean? Working with your handle a little bit to see if you can make it easier for people. I love that you have Northern Colorado photographer. Once you guys get settled, Nicole, if you guys are living near a major city recognizable by most people, I would definitely add that city in here. And if there's other surrounding areas that you serve, you can put it down here. Okay. Again, I love the hi Nicole part. This makes it super friendly, super approachable from Florida to South Dakota to Colorado. This is great. Millennial dog mom. So we've got facts about Nicole here. Great job on that. The fun facts help connect you. It helps make you relatable. It helps like break down the walls of you just being this formal business. And it shows that you are human, a person behind the business. It humanizes you. It helps make you relatable. It helps people to like you, and people that like you grow to trust you and will grow to. This is important, guys. All right. Then she's got what she specifically does. Couples, engagements, boudoir. What I do see missing is a call to action and a link. So definitely want to get either a call to action there that says to message you for booking, or a call to action that instructs someone to go to a link. Links, if you have a website, they can get all the information right there. I know as an introvert, for me, I am more likely to do that than to direct message someone about booking, because I want to know all the information, including pricing, before I approach you. Because I don't ever want to be in a situation where I'm uncomfortable, where I find out you might be out of my price range or more than what I was expecting, and I feel like caught off guard, if that makes sense. So that's why I really like you guys to get your websites up and running as soon as possible. That's why I recommend having your starting prices minimally on your website, so that people can know right away what they're looking at and investing. They can also see the value that you provide, all those things that support your price point. Okay, let me just check the comments real quick before I finish up with Nicole's. Love that feedback regarding the fun fact. So true. Absolutely. It's so important. Okay, so let's see. And Tara, I just saw your message there about looking. I'm so sorry. I'm on time today, so I won't be able to look at any more, but these should definitely help you. Just replay this, and once you kind of work with it after today, Tara, then at that point, if you're still struggling, go ahead and send me a message, okay? All right, so the last one, let's see, Nicole's. We're finishing up on Nicole's. So let me pull that back up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having to toggle back and forth and back and forth. So when you look at Nicole's feed, I want to talk about her feed a little bit. When you look through here, you see some cute couples. You see, these are her dogs. I know Nicole personally, so I recognize her dogs right away. I recognize her dad. It's super cute. And so you see couples, you see her dogs, you see weddings. We see a small child here, and we see some little ones. I know that's her new baby niece. Some photos of her and her husband, her dogs. This is a real cute one here. So we're seeing a variety of fun, creative portraits. Here's a creative portrait, weddings, lots of different things. What I would probably do if it were me, because we want to make sure, guys, that what you state here also is translated and expressed here, right? So some issues that I could see popping up with Nicole's page when it comes to her bio, where she says couples, engagements, and boudoir, is the fact that if I did not know Nicole, I would probably question if maybe she also did pet portraiture. If she also saw children, maybe families. I'm not seeing things like boudoir in here. So I will say this. Remember we talked about connection points, things about yourself to share in your content that helps connect you to your audience, like her dogs right here. I have no problem seeing her dogs regularly through her feed as a connection point. I think that's fantastic. Back when I had my two pugs, Xander and Harley, before they passed away, they got more likes than I did. People loved seeing my babies, but I'd be careful and I'd make sure that maybe for Nicole's situation, there were more pictures of her babies with her in it and fewer with them alone, because it can end up causing people to think that she also does pet photography. And fantastic. If not, that could be an issue. All right, here's a picture of her with her babies. So if we are talking couples, engagements, and boudoir, we're seeing some conflicting things, like maybe some child and family and some, pets that are solo without you in it. That could be a confusing message. So when you're in a situation where you are trying to market to one or a couple of groups of people, but maybe you're also shooting other things. Maybe someone asks, will you please take photos of my pet? Will you please take photos of my family? But it's not your typical field. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Just don't show it in your feed. You want to have consistency with your marketing. So for example, I have a lot of artist friends. I'm an artist myself too. A lot of friends with small businesses. They approach me to help them with their brand photography and setting them up on social media and the like, right? I typically do not share those. If I do, then a lot of times it's going to either be in stories, or it'll be a photo that can work with my feed in some way without throwing people off. So I have a lot to do that may not be my primary income or my primary work, but it doesn't mean I turn it away. I just am going to market what I want to attract. And that's what you got to remember. Your feed needs to market what you want to attract. Your bio needs to market what you want to attract. Okay. So one thing that I do see throughout Nicole's feed is just people that have a lot of joy on their face. So cute. And she could simply have a niche statement that says couples, serving happy-hearted people. Like, forgive me for not getting too creative here, but Nicole, I want you to take some time to think about who you're really serving, what their personalities are like, because man, if their personalities are anything like yours, they're going to have a good time. And you need to tell people that you're going to have a good time when you work with me. So I would do that. And again, have a call to action and a link. All right. Okay, guys. Oh, you're welcome, Tara. Okay, so let's go back. Courtney, I remembered. Let's go back and talk about other ways that you can display your links. Now, I don't have mine set up through Canva, so I can't tell you the ins and outs of that, but yes, they do have templates. Canva's really easy. It's canva.com. You can search for Instagram link templates and it will come up. There are ways that you can share links from Canva and use that link in your Instagram bio. So click on it to go to other links. Okay. Personally, what I do is I put a landing page, a hidden landing page on my website. Okay. So let me go to mine here real quick. All right. If you click on here, this is my, and the reason why I did this is because it brings traffic to my website. I want to keep them in-house as much as possible. Linktree, there's nothing wrong with that. I used it for a long time. However, you're sending someone to someone else's platform, okay? And on occasion, not often, but a couple of times there have been issues where Linktree crashed one day to my stuff. This brings traffic to my website. This gives them all the information they may need. And all I do is a hidden page on my website is I just copy that link and I paste it into the link portion of Instagram. So you can see here, I even have my little profile picture that matches. Here's my handle. Here is my shop for photographers link, creative portraits, intimate weddings. Here's my TikTok link, some freebies for photographers, the caption prompts, 5 myths about making more money, the Facebook group for photographers, my YouTube channel, and here this links right to my About Me page on my website here. Okay, so that's personally the #1 way that I recommend you do it, above and beyond Canva, above and beyond Link. But there's nothing wrong with Linktree, there's nothing wrong with Canva, but optimally we want people to come to our website. So that's why I've done it that way. If you don't have a website yet, then absolutely Canva's great, and so is Linktree. It gives you options to make it pretty, which I love that. I'm an artist, so I love, love for things to look pretty. But yeah, so that's, hold on one second, let me scroll down. Okay, so does that help you guys? Because otherwise that's about it. I hope this helps you, not just the people who had their biographies critiqued today, but I hope this helps the rest of you understand how you can make small tweaks to really make your Instagram bio impactful, so you're going to get more followers and you're going to get more bookings. Is content important? Absolutely it is. But your content doesn't matter if people aren't interested in the first place. Understand what I'm saying? So let me go over this one last time. The 6 elements to an optimized Instagram bio is a profile picture of your face, a memorable username, a name field that contains keywords, a niche or promise statement, a call to action, and your links. You are welcome, guys. Yes, I'm glad to see that this was helpful for you. All right, I'm going to let you go. The replay will be up in just a few minutes if you need to rewatch it. I'm so glad that you joined me live today. I hope that this is going to really make an impact. In fact, I don't just hope, I know it will. It has for me. I know it will. So guys, have a fantastic day. I will talk to you soon. If you end up having questions or comments or concerns after the fact, feel free to leave comments and I will come back and answer them. I will talk to you guys live next week. Have a great rest of your day.